Na 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 na. Greetings, anime fans. Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and NBs. Welcome, all of you, to Warui Deshou. It is Stream of Thought, Season 4. Season 4.
Four on the floor.
Stream, and I'm the thought.
Which, when I was...
I'm sorry.
I've never been called a street before in my life, but there's a lot of meanings I can take from that. Thanks.
Don't step into the stream.
Don't cross them.
Don't cross the streams. You never step into the same stream twice. Heraclitus 2019. This is episode 4 of the Promised Neverland. Season 4, when I was a kid, winter was the 4th season. Like, in my mind, I would always be like, spring is the 1st season. Because that's when everything begins to grow.
Mm-hmm.
But on the anime calendar, the 4th season is fall. Winter is the 1st season. So, it's weird.
Like, I always thought, like, basically, because of, like, school vacations, it's like, okay, summer is when the year ends. And then, like, the thing is where the thing...
I have to say, like, you know, anime has far bigger problems than being slightly out of cycle on its seasons. There's so many things I could talk about. Looking at you, recent... Nope.
Vorgelia. Not just a 2D anime character. Also, yes. Thank you, Geppetto. You've done it again.
Do we get a musical number to celebrate this moment?
I think this is the worldwide face reveal. Or something. Whatever. Fuck off. I mean, wait.
There's the Vorgelia. There's the Vorgelia I know. Very good. Hope everybody had a lovely weekend.
I spent most of mine drunk.
That sounds like a lovely weekend. I went to a wrestling show.
Hey!
Yep, took my kids to their first wrestling show.
Oof.
Yeah, it was New Japan Pro Wrestling was in Nashville, and it was a lot of fun.
Japan.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, just south of Kyoto.
Nashville.
Right. They are making forays into America. They have been touring doing California shows for a couple years, but this year they came to Charlotte, North Carolina, and Nashville, Tennessee. We're very excited. It was a ton of fun. I could talk a lot about that, but I'll save that for my other podcast. Yeah, it's memorable. I might get emotional talking about it because there's stuff, but we're here to talk about anime and get emotional about cartoons and not sweaty men punching each other as hard as they can.
Sometimes those two can cross over, though.
They can. It's absolutely the case. So, really quickly, before we get rolling on the 4th episode, a couple things we need to do. First of all, if you are not following us on Twitter, what are you doing? Follow at Warui Deshou and keep up with, like, when episodes drop, when YouTube videos become podcasts, when we're streaming on Twitch, all that sort of stuff. Follow the Twitter.
Do it.
You will see, if you don't know how to spell, check the scrolling text. It should be right about now, coming by, at Warui Deshou. And as far as the episode goes, there has been a glut of information that it's dropped all of a sudden. The last couple weeks. Last couple weeks I didn't know anything about the directors. Suddenly, Wikipedia and ANN are awash with names. So I'm able to tell you this week's episode 4, 291045, sir, yes, sir, is direct. I was going to say brought to you by. He's not a brand.
It's brought to you by Tostitos Pizza Rolls.
Yes, exactly. Oh, Pepsi. It's just okay.
Asahi dry Japanese beer.
Ryuta Kawahara is the director, and Kawahara-san has directed. Mainly, they've been an episode director, a couple storyboarding gigs. Most of this stuff, I'll admit, I haven't seen. Although, I mean, I've heard of Overlord, Overlord 2, Magical Circle, Guru Guru, like the new Kino's Journey. Got a little credit on those. The one thing that I know Shadon knows is Kawahara-san directed episode 8 of Orange.
Hey!
So
Was that the black hole one? Was that the one where they finally revealed?
Oh, man. That's
Do I
pretty
get
close.
to blame him for that clusterfuck?
No, stop it. It's a
What?
manga.
Do I get to
blame the manga artist? No, I don't know.
Blame them for the bastardization of science. Like, oh yeah, you can chuck letters down a black hole and they'll go in the past of because there's black holes in the Bermuda Triangle. Bullshit!
Excuse me?
Holy shit.
Orange? Alright, Vorgelia, you didn't watch Orange, but I'll give you the Cliff Notes summary in one sentence.
You could
it's
listen...
an amazing show. It's an amazing show, but it says that you can send letters back through time by throwing them somewhere in the Bermuda Triangle.
Yes.
I mean, like, out of context, that doesn't sound like a big, such a unexpected thing for anime.
It's otherwise completely grounded in reality. That's the scary thing about it.
I'll take it. That's not even, like, horrible. Whatever, dude.
You
It's
have
like,
no standards when it comes to science.
No, shut the Listen, Silent
Your
Disco.
scientific standards!
Listen here, Silent Disco. I'm fine with stories that are basically kind of what if scenarios, like real life, except you could do this thing that changes everything.
Does that mean that you also believe that at least one of the Kennedys has ended up in medieval fucking Europe as a result of this?
I don't know what that is.
Never
I
mind.
don't understand you.
What is this
I'm
joke?
not big smart. I'm not smart. I do not get the reference.
I'm sure at least one of the Kennedys disappeared over the Bermuda Triangle at some point.
So,
Really?
despite the peccadillo Shadon has with Orange, it really is an excellent show. I think we both agree.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Yeah.
It's amazing because it's not even about fucking time travel and shit. Like that's just like
It means to an end.
it's a device to set up the whole rest of the story because the main character, she gets a letter from herself in the future and it says your best friend is going to die. He's going to take his own life in year X and please like help and save him. And we got really heavy right off the bat. But Orange is cool. It's super good. Me and Shadon did an episode on it. Check our SoundCloud, check iTunes. It's there.
Check Orange. It's still up. It's still great.
Still on Crunchy. That movie, I still need to track down that movie. It never got an official release. I mean, it was never going to, but fucking, I don't know. I need to grab a torrent of it or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's anywhere legal. But yeah, that is the director of episode 4. Before we dive into the episode proper,
Twitter poll.
I'm going to revisit Twitter here. Take a look at...
You should count how many drinks. Okay, not just drinks. Now that he's sitting in the right position, look at the ketchup bottle that he has in the back, right? How many ketchup bottles does he drink every time we do an episode?
If we were doing like a donation-driven stream, I would actually have that be one of the incentives where I would drink a ketchup bottle. Like we were raising money for charity. Something's considered down the line.
Polls from the Yandir. Here we go. How do you feel about Sister Crone's design in TPL? 61%.
That's a great reaction.
Yeah, reflex. 61% say it bothers me, yes. 16% say it really bothered them. 23% said that they're not bothered by it at all.
I thought you were asking me like that. Oh, fuck. Oh my
Well, did you not respond to the poll?
I did respond
How
to the
dare
poll.
you?
I mean, you have a history of responding to polls multiple times.
I sure do have a multiple times.
Rigging the polls.
Shoutouts to that one. It was for Phantom, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
you fuck.
I rigged
Yes, it
the
was.
poll for us watching Phantom Requiem for the Phantom. I voted multiple times. It won by 1 vote.
Could have been watching Welcome to NHK. The missed timeline flushed down the drain.
You 2016'd us. You elect 2016 American election.
We release an average of 1.5 episodes per year.
Now we do.
Literally, the last episode we recorded, I'm editing it right now, almost an entire year ago.
We recorded Macross a couple months ago, and half of it is out.
But like Yatterman Knight, we're making jokes about fucking Black Panther and
to be fair,
Deliverance.
To be fair,
like, oh, okay.
To be fair, Black Panther's been nominated for Best Picture, so it's relevant again.
Yeah, but Kingdom Come Deliverance will never be relevant again.
Oh my god!
It was.
Kingdom only comes once.
It shouldn't have been relevant at the time. How dark. But, I think someone is mad at us for not releasing the episode because last night they liked the tweet where we talked about it.
I saw it.
I'm back from February.
Like, holy fuck, how did you play?
Oh, man.
Sleuthing happened.
Like, I've been waiting for this my whole life.
Someone's mad at you on the internet, finally.
Okay, great.
Is Carol the
tell them I love them.
Is Carol the absolute cutest? 54% say, sure, question mark. And, you're wrong. You're all wrong, and you've ruined this. You've absolutely ruined this for me. Thanks a lot.
I like how that came across like you were restraining yourself from just going on to an incredibly fantasy-filled rant there.
Yep. That's what I was doing.
I was thinking, like, what word were you going to use? Like, it was just like a roulette going. You had, like, cock, wanker, dick, etc. That also is quite appropriate.
And now we're demonetized by YouTube, thanks.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Sanrio has blocked this video in 200 countries.
Oh, well.
Next poll. Which plushie should the subtle daughter... Subtle daughter? Motherfucker. Which plushie should I, the subtle doctor, smooch next? Agretzko head, still winning. By the way, you can still vote in all these polls until tomorrow, until 20 minutes from now. So vote if you'd like to.
Get your polls in.
White hair in anime, hot or not? 82% say hot. Don't think you're going to turn the tide on that one. Would you? And then I linked the picture of the person that got the Ray tattoo on their neck. And 91% said, hell no. And 6% said, I already have, which is the best answer. Mm-hmm. And those are the polls from last week. Thanks, everyone, for voting. Now, are we ready to talk about episode 4?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to hit you with that summary beat. So, beginning of the show opens with Norman hiding his stash of weed.
He did do that. Can confirm.
Yes. Gotta keep that shit out of Mom's sight.
Oh man, the stuff on that bed, the porno mags.
Mom, that's my weed. Mom.
Don't touch my stash, Mom. Emma was touching my grass. So let's see.
What?
The OP happened after that. And then
That's a lot of paper. Holy shit.
What, this?
That's a huge. Oh, okay.
I thought it was a huge.
Okay, I thought it was a huge stack of papers.
No.
I'm like, oh shit.
Just
came
a notebook.
prepared.
Many trees died to make this podcast happen.
That's right. You know what? The world is fucked, so let's all party while it goes down in flames. I don't really think that.
I don't support this viewpoint. Just for the record.
I don't think that. Dude, I'm playing a 3DS game, by the way, called Radiant Historia. Perfect Chronology it's just Radiant Historia. It's a remade for the 3DS. And, like, basically, I've to this point in the plot where it's revealed, like, there's some kind of, like, environmental point of no return that humanity will reach within 10 years. And I was like, holy Jesus, fuck, this game is the most relevant shit I've ever played.
Okay.
I do realize we'd be getting a new video game adaptation of Lost in Space, but here we are.
Yeah, the planet's turning to desert. So
That was Lost in Space. Oh my god. Oh, bad memories of watching the movie as a child, liking it.
Oh god.
And we're doing everything in our power to not talk about this episode.
danger, Will Robinson. We're getting away from the summary. Let's see. So there's there's this conversation between Isabella and Sister Crone that happens here. Like, Crone sweating bullets, very nervous, very anxious about this. Isabella, very cold, very composed and assured, basically ends with telling her, like, well, she says, like, hey, don't make any mistakes in the future. Don't make any more mistakes, I think. And if you're a good girl, you can be a mom someday.
Just to clarify, the mistakes that she mentions there, because it wasn't me. This confused the shit out of me initially when I first watched this. It's apparently specifically just that she was playing tag in the previous episode. I originally thought there had been something cut that had happened between 3 and 4 in the manga that then hadn't been translated to the show proper, and I was like, what mistakes? Like, she got them all except, those two twerps. Like, I got nothing. But no, it's just apparently that she was doing it in the first place.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to wait till the end to talk about Crone, because I have a lot to say about her, like, from all kind of different points in the episode, and I'll just kind of bundle it all together. But as a preview, I think most people that read the manga will agree. Like, there is this characterization is not like a 1-to-1 match with the manga. They're doing some different stuff here, and we can talk about that. We got the anime original doll. That is anime original decapitated.
This scene.
Very heated.
Yes. It's very nice when they set something up and then it just goes away.
I'm just going to say right now...
She's just crazy.
Scene.
She has no internal motivation. She's just crazy. Come on,
This scene confused the shit out of me as well because, like...
Dude, you don't get it. She's just crazy.
It's got the music over
What the heck? What the heck is your problem?
Oh, man.
Sorry, I'm very mad with this scene also.
Are you doing... Is that your impersonation of Twitter? Just the constant, like, adding of Shadon?
There's not enough bros in what you said for it to be Twitter, so there's that. But, like, the music in this scene, like, it makes it come across as comedic, but she's meant to be terrifying. She's meant to be scary, and she's just losing her shit and beating up, not Scarface, and ripping her doll apart. And I'm like, what am I supposed to take away from this? Am I supposed to be scared by him?
Did you know? She's crazy. Did you know? I don't know, like, it's like kind of subtext. It's kind of subtext, but I think she's crazy, dude.
It never crossed my mind once. I mean, we'll get to the scene later, but, like, Gilda and her later, when you have similar sort of thing going on, where it's like, the music there is perfect, tense, it's creepy as fuck. And I just couldn't help but think back to that scene. I was like, what the fuck is this contrast? This is fucking Whiplash. Is this show bipolar when it comes to this fucking character?
Yes.
All right, I gotta ask you a question, Vorgelia. Is she crazy like Jar Jar Binks or crazy like Senator Palpatine? Oh!
That's like the most forced like, Star Wars reference.
I did it. I got in there first.
What the hell? Like, what? No, that didn't make any sense. Like, you don't get credit. You don't get credit, dude. You don't get credit. You're not getting it. First, stop smiling. You're not getting the credit.
Well, that happened.
Sorry. Sorry, I'm being very aggressive. I have no filter right now.
It's okay. It's all right. Lack of sleep and strong feelings about the episode.
Not too strong feelings. I liked it. But
parts. Okay, then we get a tag, the tag scene.
Parts like the parts that the dudes are trying to buy at Waro's place. Parts for the space.
All the spare parts laying around in the trash compactor that they get thrown into in the Death Star.
Oh my
Alright. The soul's evaporating from my brain and my body.
All the parts that your opponent gets exploded into when you do Katana's Fatality in MK2, where she kisses you and your head blows up.
Yes! Check off that box. Yes, going down the checklist. Let's go.
Oh my god.
Okay, tag. There's a tag game, and it's really good. It's a fun scene. They simulate these formations. Rei gives Emma 100 to memorize by ear. She's like, okay. They played the game. I want to highlight the soundtrack in this scene because...
Oh my god, yes!
Fucking, like... It almost sounds like steel drums. I don't think they are. I think it's a keyboard kind of doing steel drums, but, like, that plus those strings is just, like, magic. The melody is so good in that scene. It is so good.
I'll figure out exactly what it reminds me of and then listen to that thing that it reminds me of. But yeah, like... It's interesting how they shift between the styles, I guess, in each episode. Like, the previous one was a lot more jazzy. This one is kind of like... I guess the previous one was kind of, jazzy. You know, jazz is unpredictable, just like this lady over here. And now it's like, look at these children. Look at them. They're doing things.
They're doing things.
I loved it.
And then we get... the next line I have in my notes is Phil rules, because he does. That's going to be the next poll as soon as I get a break here and get a chance to type, does Phil rule? Yes or no? Vote yes.
Phil.
Well, the Rays in the audience would agree.
Phil for president 2020.
Okay. So, and then an interesting, I think, kind of scene happens here where we get some thinking we can sort of sink our teeth into. When Norman suggests, or he asks, like, hey, Rei, like, he's trying to actually take Emma's mind off something that Rei said that he thinks is going to bother her. So he says, like, hey, Rei, like, have you figured out the tracking devices? When are we going to be able to disable them? And Rei, with a disarmingly specific answer, in my opinion, 10 days.
10 days.
Okay, good, great.
I'm soaking mine in vinegar right now.
That's why it's super interesting. Like, super specific answer, and like, okay, cool, 10 days.
And then
Norman
said, "Well, that's when we're leaving." Rei blows a fuse here. Like, what the fuck? Like, don't you understand the schedule? Like, we got 2 months, on and on. And Norman, displaying some pretty remarkable critical thinking, is like, look, the schedule is just another tool in Mom's arsenal that she's using to manipulate us. Like, everything we know, she has allowed us to know, or she has deduced that we figured it out on our own. So we should use that against her and try to think ahead and make the first move, because she'd never think of that. Yeah, and that was great.
Furthermore, it makes sense, given that there was discussion between Mom and Crone that they're not aware of, mind you, but it would make sense if you think about it, of bringing it forward, shipping them out early. So makes sense, makes absolute sense. Why not?
Then we have the remake of PT happening on screen.
I have to say, like I said previously, that I thought that this show was like one of the ones you must absolutely watch with headphones on. I'm going to upgrade that to now saying you must watch it with a VR headset on.
Yeah, okay. The first person.
Yeah, I'm genuinely surprised when they got to the door, like a little hand prompt in, like, open.
Oh my god.
Although I do have to say, I do think this first person thing, like when it cuts back to just show them there, I'm like, okay, that deflates all the tension that it brought up. Then, like, what was the point of that?
So I don't think.
What was the point of that? I think it's this kind of. I think it's this kind of shot where we'll see it in this episode because of this director, and then we'll never see it ever again.
Quite possibly. I suppose it may be because we don't know who it is who's walking around, but because we don't otherwise see anyone else from that perspective, it doesn't mean that we can identify who it is. It's just there. And also, CG and anime, I'm just going to say, like, if you're not Studio Orange, who did Land of the Lustrous, just give the fuck up. Just go home. Stop. Like, you can't... Like,
I think they also did the mechs in...
Frontier and Delta.
I think Majestic Prince also, I feel like... I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. Yeah, they're really good. They're really, really good outfit.
I mean, this bit here...
But, like, you know why they did it? Because they had to waste a minute?
Maybe.
They've got plenty of other stuff they could be doing with that. But on top of that, all of the environment looked really plastic.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was looking at the inside of, like, a child's toy.
It looked like a shot from Ruby.
Playset.
Those stairs were like the equivalent of a Ruby character. Like they both belong on the PS2.
What? Flat, lifeless and undeveloped?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went there.
Yes.
I fucking went there.
Yes.
Come at me, Ruby fans. I only watched the first 3 seasons, and guess what? The ending of season 3 was so shit, it made me not want to watch it again. Funny how that works.
It's so funny.
Anyway, moving on.
Yes, let's see. Yeah, that scene, like, I have my notes, like, it's bad. I thought it ruined the moment. The CG, like, even the perspective change. I'm not sure, like, I don't even know, like, if, say they didn't do the CG, and it was just done as it was normally done. I don't even, I guess, know how you could do it, actually, if not in CG, but say it was possible and they did it. I don't know, it would have, like, broken kind of the immersion for me anyway, because there's not been any first person heretofore, and I wasn't really set up for like an eerie moment. It just kind of cut from, I don't know, another conversation. Like, I was not a fan of the choice.
I get its inclusion, because, like, this is a point where suspicions start really running rife. Like, Gilda and Dawn and all that. Like, who's the traitor? Who's the person who's going to, sell us out? So I get that. Mm-hmm. But what the actual scene looks at through the eyes of this person until we find out it's just Emma is buggery fuckery all. Mm-hmm. We're not seeing like following someone in the distance. Mm-hmm. We're not seeing, anything like where they're going. Like, is it someone's room? Is it rifling through, say, Ray or Norma's possessions?
Right. Is it an adult?
Don't see.
That's fair.
It doesn't deliver anything to us. It doesn't deliver on its own tension. It's just, look at this CG thing, and then, oh wait, well, guess what?
You know what that means, right? There is not necessarily fully modeled, but there is a decently modeled and textured 3D model of this house now. Someone get this out to the public.
Oh shit! Are we gonna have an RE7 mod? The Promised Neverland. Yes.
Right. Trickster brings up a good point in chat that that they, like, one of the other things Norman says in his, like, sort of, what do I call it? His plan, he's proposing action. He mentions, like, that we need to leave before winter. Like, we knew there was a calendar, we knew, that sort of thing, but we know now that there are seasons, which, I mean, that's an interesting tidbit, right? There's a piece of the world they're revealing, because, in October, I don't know, the weather still seems pretty idyllic there on the farm, so I guess it's good to know that there's, like...
Maybe they're near the equator, but yeah, winter would generally, I guess, be worse. But, I'm interested to see, like, what kind of winter, because that would kind of mean they probably, if it's especially bad winter or something like that, they might not be able to play tag or something. So what do they do around that time?
Yeah,
it's Australian winter.
Tag pretty much every
scorching. It's like 45 degrees Celsius every day.
Oh my god.
So that scene could have been, like, there was stuff about it. I have a lot about this. So I think, again, I thought the soundtrack here was really good. There was, like, a xylophone and some kind of, like, deep, like, strings. And, like, the tone was deep and low. And I just thought that really worked for the scene. But, like, yeah, just visually, I was not feeling it. Okay, so then we really get into it. The episode kicks it into high gear. and the 3 kids have decided to tell Don and Gilda the secret. And there's a lot of stuff that is not necessarily like critical in terms of knowing what's going on, but just stuff that would enhance this moment, I feel, that is cut. Like, there's a really good scene between, like, Norman, Emma, and Ray. Like, they argue about whether or not that they're going to tell them and how much they're going to tell them. And, like, they play it a certain way here, which I think, by and large, works in terms of, like, how much they tell. But, like, you get to see in the manga, Emma is, like, pushing really hard to not tell them the truth. Which is a huge... I think it feels like that's more Norman's idea here. Because he volunteers the information first. Ray argues about it with him. But in the comic, you see them all 3 talking. And it's a really fantastically drawn shot of Emma, like, looking as fierce and intense as she's ever looked up to this point, saying, now is not the time to tell them the truth. And it's a scene I love, and it got cut!
In favor of CG stairs. Whoops.
In favor of CG stairs.
Yeah. I will say this, though. I actually genuinely thought this scene was the best bit of the episode. Not just for its content.
Oh, yeah.
First off...
It's awesome.
Like, yeah, first off, it delivered really, really well on the reveal. Like, the stages of denial that Dawn goes through, Gilda's own intervention. Admittedly, her line where she said she loves Mom so much, why would she lie about Mom delivering them to the... did confuse me a little bit, but whatever.
In general, Gilda's reaction, because she doesn't get shocked, she kind of just looks down as if she knows already. And her reaction in general, and how she kind of tries to convince, or, like, you know, the kind of very, like, on-the-spot reason, or, like, way she kind of tries to convince Dawn. It's like, oh, she loves Mom, she wouldn't do the thing.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Basically, like, characterizes her and kind of gives some like insight on what she's doing.
Yeah, Don's reaction as he slowly accepts the truth he's been told, half fiction though it is really well done. His facial expressions are great. One really nice directional touch I liked that also foreshadows what happens later, by the way. This is in the library, and the 4, Dawn, Gilda, Emma, and Norman are both on the ground floor and around the table. Ray is sat on top of, like, a balcony area or a set of, like, those ladders you use to check out big bookshelves.
Yeah.
And he is never, to my memory, framed in the same shot as the other characters. He's always separate. And he's literally, like, this is perhaps beyond the nose, but he is literally above all this shit as far as he is concerned. He wants no part of it. If it were up to him, it would just literally be him, Emma, and Norman going. And not getting anyone else involved, because they're all a fucking liability as far as he's concerned.
Yes.
Which, grain of truth to that, but as we discussed in the previous episode, doesn't mean you shouldn't take everyone with you, because otherwise they are just going to become, you know, so much McDonald's Big Mac for the demons. So there we are.
Oh, yeah, so Ray, you're right, Tracer. Ray is very much not, like, a liar in this, as far as this goes. Like, he wants to, like, not sugarcoat anything. Like,
yeah,
why...
so somehow Ray is kind of it's not even like sugarcoating. He's kind of somehow showing more empathy than Norman.
Yep.
Which is something you don't even expect of Ray up until this point. But yeah.
It's it's like a different. I think all 3 of them have empathy for Dawn and Gilda and the other kids. It's just like,
definitely,
you know, you have Ray that does not want the pain of telling them Santa Claus is not real. But the others are like, you know, the noble lie is fine. Like, we will, like, tell them whatever we have to do to save them, and as long as they're alive, like, they can hate. In fact, Emma has this thing. I don't think she says it in the episode, but she's very much like, I don't care if they hate me later. They'll be alive, and we can figure it out. Like, just whatever we have to do to get them in the tent.
Yeah. Ray's response, though, does have a more pragmatic element, which is that, you know, if the kids later found out they did lie about, you know,
will they trust you?
Fate, yeah, there's the trust element. So there's a lot of layers to this that I really appreciate.
Like, you know, like, qualities of leadership, right? Like what do you want to do?
This is
really
a Telltale
interesting
game playthrough.
Yeah. Yeah, this is like
Ray will remember that.
the 3 people in Fate Zero talking at a table. Ray will remember that. Wait, right. Of course, it took me a second, but yes, Ray will remember that. Yeah, Ray says, don't give him false hope. You have Gilda, who, like, yeah, summed this up really well. Like, she's very observant, and, like, in the anime, I feel like that's telegraphed really, really hard. Like, Gilda's watching, you know what I mean? Whereas,
Giant glasses.
Yeah, it's the case in the manga, but, I don't know, just something about maybe reading manga, like, those sort of foreshadowings, like, I guess the fact that you can kind of pace your own way through it, like you can read over it really quickly and get to the next thing, it doesn't feel as in your face as like a 5-second shot in the anime would do. But yeah, like she's been saying like, oh, like Emma is acting kind of weird with the babies. Look, she didn't know she's looking for the tracking device, but like something's weird here, and she's saying weird things out loud. And then she admits, like, I noticed when you guys didn't come back from the gate that night that Connie got shipped off, like, you acted totally different than you normally would. You would have apologized to Mom the next day and been fine, but you never did that. You never told her. So she's been taking notes and internalizing all this and has been really anxious about it. Like, whenever we've seen her, she's been kind of nervous and looking down. And the fact that she's able to, like, let it all out here and hug Emma, and then later on that happens too. Like, that felt really good. I really liked that.
And we get a moment of them both talking together in the bedroom afterwards, like business as usual.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yay!
For now, anyway.
Yeah.
For now.
They're adorable.
They're so cute. And during this whole scene, like, Final Fantasy VIII music is playing, I'm pretty sure, and it's great. It's really good. I feel like they're walking around Balam Garden, and I love it.
Oh, God, now that you've said that, every time I see a scene of all the kids together doing shit, I'm just going to hear that, do, do, do.
Yep.
This means nothing to me. I don't understand them. I'm safe.
And then, of course, when things get serious or melancholy, I'm just going to hear Final Fantasy VII's Anxious Heart theme, the one that plays in Midgar. The really, like, somber, like, violin piece. Oh, fuck. Doc, you've polluted my head canon. You fuck.
No, it's good. It's good. It's not pollution. It's good medicine. It tastes bad, but it'll heal you. It'll make you better. So,
oh God.
Then we see, we see a big old red herring, Gilda getting out of bed, putting on her glasses, looking all like her expression you could kind of like, I guess, interpret as menacing, but it ends up being she really just is afraid, and she doesn't want to like wake Emma up. And
how Emma is even sleeping through any of this, by the way. I was genuinely surprised at.
I know.
Not neither Chris.
She wasn't sleepy. She was pretending to be sleepy. So she opens her eyes immediately after.
I'm referring generally, just throughout.
Right, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone's loud at night. No one has mastered their inside voices yet. Which you think if you were running a daycare, that'd be the first thing you teach everyone. Use your inside voice.
So now that you're saying this, but it's obvious that she's kind of scared. Wow, it really dawned on me. But go on.
Okay.
Continue describing this scene, but wow.
Okay, all right. So we see her get out of bed, and then we have a hard cut to a note being slid underneath Mom's door.
And I really wanted that note just to say something.
Not a note being slipped. Gilda is slipping the note. It shows it in the next shot.
No, it does not.
Yes.
No, it shows.
You don't see who it is.
No.
You don't see who it is.
The next shot is Gilda knocking on the door of Crone's room.
Excuse me. Wait.
Yeah,
I don't wait, but I'll rewatch this shit.
Okay, so here's how we know that and we know it's not Gilda because there's a scene. I didn't write it down. I should have talked about this. The rope scene where
I know what you mean, but I thought like basically Gilda slipped the note and then went to see Crone. Okay.
So here's how you know that she didn't do it is because Norman and Ray are talking, and they're like, "Well, what if they're still traitors? Like, what if one of them is the spy?" Yeah. And Norman says, "Well, what I will do is I will tell Gilda where I've hidden the rope. I will tell her it's in location A, and I will tell Dawn it's in location B, but I'll really have it under the bed." And then we see the note Mom opens up that says rope is under the bed. And who knows it's under the bed? Not Dawn, not Gilda, only one person, Ray.
Right. I
then
thought
we know Ray's the traitor. That's when we know.
Right. Okay, I thought, because I'm misremembering this quite heavily, that basically Norman says to Ray, "Okay, I'll tell Dawn that it's under the that it's under the bed. I'll tell the dude."
I don't think.
Whatever.
I think you're both misremembering. Because I don't think that Norman told Ray, like, I'm going to deliberately misdirect Dawn, because otherwise, why then would Ray do that? Slip that note, because then he would get found out.
Well, no, he did. He said, no, I think he did say he was going to tell.
No, I don't believe he did. I think he literally said,
we'll tell Gilda it's here, and we'll tell Dawn it's here.
Yeah, that's it.
And then no matter.
That's what he said. Yeah.
And then
he didn't say he was going to mislead him.
And then no, he did. But he totally did, because he said the rope will really be in the bed, and then Ray says, "Well, like, what if they find out you're lying about this, or whatever?" And he says, "I've got something for that. Like, it's not a big deal."
Yeah.
But yeah. So and then,
so
it's really sort of
happened.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I rewatched this right now, and I thought basically, Gilda was slipping the note, and I thought basically Gilda is like kind of recruited by Mom and then accidentally gave the wrong location. It's like, okay, I'll just mislead Mom or whatever. Or something like that. But
they definitely want you to think that. They want you to think it's Gilda putting the note.
Yeah. Yeah, because they showed her right in the next scene. Okay, sorry, that went nowhere. Let me watch the thing.
Okay, well, how about this? I need to use...
So, a trap. He says, "I'll tell both of them where the rope is hidden. I'll tell Dawn it's under my bed. I'll tell Gilda it's in the ceiling on the second floor bathroom." That's what he says.
Yeah, he never says he's going to mislead Dawn.
Okay, I see. I think
you're getting it from the manga.
Okay, well, I jumped ahead because...
the reason
doesn't
tell Dawn
exactly, and so he knows, right? So Ray thinks he has implicated Dawn, but Norman actually gave Ray false information because he suspected him as well.
Mm-hmm. That's brilliant.
Yeah. So Norman thinking ahead of everybody. That's a minor spoiler, but like that, it explains why in the end he turns and says, "No, Ray, the traitor is you." And again, it's something that Shadon talked about. This, like, Ray being shown apart from everyone, and just his kind of nature in general. Like, it's why Norman is asking Ray later in the episode, "Hey, why do traitors betray their friends? Why do you think?"
And then Ray's there like,
no, Ray's just straight up is like, "Well, there must be incentive. He must be offering,
motherfucker."
Like, and then he goes and asks Emma, "Hey, if there's a traitor, when we find the traitor in our midst, and they've sold us out, what do you think we should do?" And Emma, champ that she is like, "Well, we should take him with us, no question." Norman, taken aback by this, right? Why? Like, well, many reasons. Firstly, their safety won't be guaranteed when we escape, like, which is a pretty obvious conclusion. And then, like, I mean, she's just like, none of our, I went through this whole thing, Emma, of suspecting Gilda on Ray's directive of suspect everyone. And I did, and she, we skipped over, we'll circle back around to Gilda talking with Crone. And that happened, but she came through and it made me realize, like, all of my siblings, they're all good people. Everyone's just trying their best. Everyone's just trying to survive. And even if, like, someone has betrayed us on the promise of something good or being spared something bad, it doesn't mean they're bad. They made a mistake, and they're good people, and we want them with us. I want to protect them. And I'm just like,
it's
fuck
like,
yeah.
It's like I said previously, though, as well. It's something to keep in the forefront of your mind when you watch this show. They're fucking children.
Mm-hmm.
They're not adults. They're like children are easier to pressure into doing stuff. You know, they're easier to, you know, intimidate or scare, as we full fucking learn, you know, with Gilda and Crone in the next scene that we're going to talk about. So,
can we get Gilda to replace Ray as the third protagonist? can we have this dynamic, please?
Please. No, Ray.
It's good to say how Gilda was Ray all along. And he's just going,
oh my god!
I predict
if they kill Gilda within the next 3 episodes, I will die.
I predict
this is a public declaration.
Save Vorgelia.
Save Vorgelia.
We need to send a note in a black hole to the writer of this manga. You know, put it in the Bermuda Triangle and be like, change your, you know, don't write this. Don't let it happen.
You do realize that based on Quantum Fury, this will not actually save our Vorgelia, it will save a
different one in a different timeline. No!
It doesn't work like that. I'm sorry, Grandfather Paradox, get fucked.
Sorry, I think you have some things incorrect, but okay, go.
So, shit. What were you talking about? I was just gonna say, like, I predict that you will all continue to, be really interested in Ray.
Yeah,
be really interested in Ray.
I fully expect him after he's found out to basically reevaluate his standing and not like become their kind of friend, but basically try to look out for his own kind of survival, basically. Like now that he's found out.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I expect this to be a pretty like interesting dynamic with Ray.
Well, I have a theory on.
You don't get like a character like Ray. You don't establish him that much and then throw him out because he's a traitor.
I think
my God, is the dude played by Tom Cruise going to die in that fight scene 5 minutes into the movie? Oh my God, did they get Tom Cruise just for 5 minutes? Oh man.
If it's one of those Chinese bootleg films that have been going around recently, quite possibly. Anyway, that's a different matter. I have a theory, by the way, before we get back to Gilda, about why Ray's done this. And it's not simply because he's trying to go for the bad ending route of, being promoted to an adult by selling them all out. I think he's trying to patsy Don in this. Because I think he's figured out that Don is a weak link.
Oh, that's
in his own brain. He's not doing it to screw over Emma and Norman. But he thinks that if he, patsies Don and gets him out of the way, there'll be a stronger group for it. Because bear in mind, how many times has he said up until this point, we should be taking everyone with us? And every time he's been shot down on that.
Man.
So maybe he's been forced into, taking more indirect action or to, force that particular issue. If I can't convince my friends to not take these fuckwits with me, then maybe I should forcibly remove them from the group.
I can't wait for you to see what really happens. I cannot wait. Oh my God. It's so this manga's so good. Okay, so rewind the episode. Woo. Back to the point where Gilda's leaving the bed, and again, cut to the note under the door. Cut back to Gilda knocking on Crone's door, and
who is it?
It's me, Tiny Gilda. May I come in?
I don't I don't like the act. I don't like who I am in this act.
No, it's bad.
I weren't really ready for Vorgelia's
No, yeah, I didn't. I have to say, I just, yes.
I'm sorry.
No, and hey, yeah, I just yes-anded you. I didn't think about where it was going.
I tried to imagine what Vorgelia's Crone voice would be, and all I got in my head was a file not found 404.
Oh my God!
Can't imagine it. Can't.
I don't know.
Oh no, that's enough. No,
baby. That's offensive. I'm sorry. Oh fuck! I dropped my microphone. I can't do voice. Oh my god! This is on the internet forever.
Poor Vorgelia.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
I can't do this voice. She has a weird voice.
It's a very it's a voice. All right.
Hello, children.
It's a Zybox. Come.
Yeah.
Hello, Zybox. Are you going to now reprise the role of Sister Crone? Are you going to take the place of? Are you going to be Sister Zybox in Promised Neverland?
Of course he is.
Do you aspire
Care for a
to
game
be
of tag?
Mom Zybox?
I would trust Zybox more than Mom or anyone else. To look after,
Yeah, you know what he's thinking.
He's playing Gacha on his phone all the fucking time. That's why he doesn't end up actually doing tag with anyone.
Yes. Okay, Gilda. Yes, she's in the room, and she's like, "Oh, hey, Sister Crone," and Crone is like, "Oh, I'm glad that you've come to talk to me." Seems like she's told her beforehand, "Come meet me here, or if you have problems, come talk to me or whatever." And Gilda. We think what we're thinking originally, right? If you're kind of totally if you've bitten hook, line, and sinker into their feints and stuff, you're like, look, Gilda's about to either consciously or unconsciously betray the group. Crone's gotten to her. She's going to leak information to her. But what Gilda's actually really doing is, now that she knows at least part of the truth, and she's kind of joined up with the team, she is putting herself out there with Crone to say, everything's fine, leave me alone, we're good.
So did she? I guess she only started acting kind of weird after Crone arrived. Okay, yeah, that's fair. I didn't catch that. I thought Crone was basically prodding her in general about stuff, but maybe Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, Crone has seen, I think, has observed. Gilda being troubled, and she's like, okay, so I can have it in here.
There have been actual scenes of that in the previous episode.
Yeah, okay.
And Gilda's very much like, everything's good, thanks for your concern, I'll be on my way. And poor sweet Gilda doesn't know that by doing this, she has totally tipped her hand, and Crone is like, oh, so what you're saying is Emma's told you everything. Because she's like, I know, she being Crone is like, I know Emma knows. And the boys know. And then Gilda cracks, doesn't take it in stride, pauses in fear. You have Crone whispering, in her ear, come to the dark side.
Tell me everything.
If you only knew the power of the dark side. And all of that shit.
Yeah, kind of trying, even trying to get a tiny reaction so that she has something to go off on.
I enjoyed that, Shadon, by the way. I enjoyed that. Yeah, poking, prodding. And Gilda thinks on her feet very well.
This is the full power of this fully operational battle.
Emma peeks through the keyhole and says, that's no moon.
But Gilda, this is just an orange.
Fuck, man.
The operational battle station.
No, it's a tangerine. It's literally just a piece of fruit. You can't scare me with a piece of fruit.
Sorry, I can't do this voice. Oh my god. I used to be able to do this voice.
Oh dear.
I've forgotten so many lines. Okay. Miss, no, I'm not gonna do it.
No,
You're not gonna do it. You're not gonna do it. You're not gonna do it.
Just don't maybe come over there.
Out.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, I thought Gilda actually came up with a really plausible, sort of quick and dirty explanation of her behavior in relation to Emma. Me and Emma had a big fight, but now we're good. That's it. I'm like, yes, you could apply that as a theory to all the behavior. She's been distant from Emma. She's been troubled. She hasn't been talking, but now they're together talking. It's great, beautiful.
They're children. Children fight. There
yes. Mm-hmm. And she leaves, and Emma the whole time is listening in, and she's just like, yes, 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 my girl.
By the way, really, really felt kind of sad that they cut out a certain scene that I feel should have been there, which is just Gilda looking to her right and just seeing that torn up doll going, what's that about? And then Crunch goes, nothing. Nothing. Don't mind it. Just like sweeping it aside with a leg.
You have a decapitated doll with the entire stuffing hanging from the head. Why is that?
It was like that when I got here. Why do people keep asking me about it?
It's a collector's item. Oh gosh, but yeah, then we go into the whole like 3-card Monty rope double feint thing that we discussed, where Norman baits Ray and Ray falls for it.
Oh fuck!
Are you the traitor, Ray? You're the traitor, aren't you?
Please, can we? No. On June 28th, I was at home playing video games. That's all.
So let me get this straight.
Were you playing video games under my bed?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you realize I was giving you a length of rope to hang yourself with?
We have ways of making
No,
you
officer,
talk.
I didn't steal your weed. Officer, no.
Officer Norman. Oh, we didn't take your weed. Oh my god. That was
we
good.
can see the ironing board and the ketchup again.
And then
And my shiny head.
Ray has not suspected that Norman is onto him and took the bait, tried to implicate Dawn by sending Mom the note.
Yeah, Norman fucking played this super well. Like, even they did this. I assume, since you're kind of saying that stuff, like they kind of hinted at it a bit more in the manga, or they showed it later and you just spoiled it. But like, there, as a viewer, there was no like indication that was happening. They seemed like just cool, business as usual.
It was very surprising, like in terms of like, no, Ray, you're the traitor. I was kind of like, what? Like, how? But then I went back and reread it, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, I think I see what he's doing. And then going forward, they explain it. And next episode, they should have Norman explaining, like, I told you that I was going to tell Dawn under the bed. Actually, I told Dawn in the ceiling fan. And I told Gilda, in my drawer. But I made you think
you
under
talk
the bed.
in your sleep. You idiot. I have to say, Vorgelia will agree with me on this. If you're a fighting game player, there's a name for this. It's called Yomi, which is predicting shit. And you got layers of Yomi, which is getting one step ahead.
Okay.
And I think Norman's on a level of Yomi I don't think even fucking Daigo's been on.
Since one bag of rope was, high up above the toilet and one was below the bed, was this a high-low mix-up, or?
Yes. Yes, it was. It absolutely was. 50-50.
50-50.
Did he low profile Ray? I got references. I got references.
I think that's an excellent point to conclude the episode summary, I must say. KO.
It's funny, like when I was somewhat into the scene around the time of Third Strike, they didn't call it Yomi. Like Yomi was so synonymous with Daigo Umehara, people just called it Ume.
Hello, Mary. You missed
Hello.
VR jokes, interrogation scene jokes.
So much.
The fact that Crone sucks.
Yeah,
but
we'll talk about that more after this.
Oh
I do need to take a break, so we'll be back momentarily. Hold on, folks.
or oh, this is suck.
And this is kind of...
And this is kind of like, hey, this is pretty great, but there's some things that really bother me.
There's blemishes.
How does that work? That's too complicated for my brain.
There's shit in the corn.
Welcome back, by the way, everybody. We're live again.
You had that so ready. I'm like, okay, you've had some interesting life experience. Oh my god.
All right. So I believe we're going to go on talking points now. Right?
Yes. So I was just reading the chat, trying to catch up a little bit. Yeah, let me hit the sounder because I think we've talked about most of the stuff of the summary. So now it is time to
talking points.
Talking points.
Oh shit! Do we need to change Doc's batteries again?
Nope. I just had to. Yep, we're good.
Okay, cool.
Just had to take them out and put them back in. I'm like a Nest cart. Just blow on me. Heyo. All right. Talking points. Someone else besides me, please take over because I would like to do some polls.
I'm gonna be up front here. I normally do have a lot to say, but like I think I've already covered what I want to talk about. But I will, however, throw this in. Like, we may as well start talking about Crone again. Like, okay, I'm gonna put it out there, right? I am always of the opinion that if you're adapting your work and you find there's something wrong with the existing material, you have free license to change it, as long as you maintain the spirit of the original work. That's, as far as I'm concerned, the way it should be when you do adaptation. You shouldn't just simply do a one-to-one translation or as close thereof, depending on the medium you're going to. If you have the opportunity to make something better by changing it, adding or subtracting to it, then that makes you, a good adaptation, and you should do that. And here's the thing, right? I really like the Promised Neverland, but I cannot recall the last time I've seen something adapted where the existing thing was bad and they decided to make it worse. But here we have Sister Crone, so fuck do I know?
I'm ready to talk about Crone. Okay, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. I think is it like fuck.
No.
Is it wrong to assume that since Dog pointed out that basically with this episode we're skipping a bunch of chapters already, and we've skipped a bunch of stuff between episodes, so is it, I guess, wrong to assume that they are kind of trying to do this to characterize her?
They're not doing it very well. Like,
to
this
kind
anime...
of give her... Okay, so basically what I'm thinking is she will not have as much time to be characterized as in the thing. She will not have as much time to kind of give the... to kind of develop her kind of motivations and her plans and whatever. So they're basically, fuck it. Okay, she's a wild card. Let's establish that she's a wild card. And let's kind of do this in every scene that we can. And just to make sure that whatever she does next and however she fucks things up, because I think, basically, she's gonna fuck Mom's plans out, up and let the children escape. So whatever she does then, it's like, oh, okay, she's crazy, so that's why she did it, because they didn't have that much time to develop her character, or they didn't have that much time to kind of go into some kind of a plot, something that she had.
I see where you're coming from, but the thing is, I'm really asinine.
I'm trying to rationalize this. I'm not saying they're doing it in the best way, but why the heck would they do it? Do they just think black people are funny? Is that what they're doing? I'm not willing to believe that about people.
Was the director a fan of Tyler Perry?
Oh my god.
Oh jeez, fuck. Yeah, exactly.
What have you done? What have you done? What have you done?
Look. Right. Okay. Here's the thing. Right? Let's break this.
Whenever people are able to analyze this video and OCR equivalent it and rip out the full text, this is going to come up in a search of Tyler Perry's name. And I'm so angry at you for that.
I'm angry at the fact that I thought of it, but this is the thing, right?
I've just torn out my own earbuds on accident. I was so mad.
This is an anime, but Crone is literally a cartoon character. I know that sounds strange to say about an anime, but it's true. And here's the thing, right? Let's take this back. Let's take this back, right? Okay. Now, I've been told that by yourselves that the doll is an anime new thing.
Yep.
And on paper,
I confirmed that today on my quick reread.
On paper, I get the idea behind that because in manga, you can use a lot of internal monologue, and I think that's the case in the Promised Neverland. There's a lot of internal monologue that is now externalized. So for me, I get the idea behind that in that it's someone she can talk to, and that way it's not just simply her standing in a room or sitting down and it's just like in a monologue.
And also basically the doll is like, oh, that's why she wants to be a mom, because she has a weird complex with thing. Again, because we can't give her that much character. We can't kind of give them not much screen time and show her motivations and stuff, because this is shorter or whatever.
And that's if that is what they're implying, with the doll, which I feel like is a pretty good guess about their intentions. That is way farther than they go in the manga. There's nothing really in the manga as sort of overt that would indicate that she would be a bad mom. She wants to be a mom. That's her chief motivation. She wants to climb this ladder and have a house and be secure. But there's nothing apart from her kind of general interactions and kind of the chilling nature of her character at times that would indicate that she'd be a bad mom. She's not ripping the heads off of dolls or anything. And so I think a lot of what you said, I think I agree with both of you. So conceptually, as Vorg is furiously hacking the banks, conceptually, I see what they were trying to do, because upon rereading the first 12 chapters this morning, I think I discovered about myself that I like the way they characterize Crone, because she feels an awful lot like Mom in terms of her coldness. We get to see a lot in her mind. She's more strategic and less emotionally volatile. She's not ripping dolls off. She's not screaming into the night. She's thinking ahead. That scene where they have the confrontation, Mom and Crone, in the anime, I thought that was just that was super cringe. That felt like a master-slave dynamic. She's all standing at attention, sweating bullets. Mom is be a good girl and you can have what you want.
Wearing that particular outfit?
Yeah. It felt way grosser, whereas in the manga, she's putting on this front, Crone is, of ignorance, while in her mind you see she's planning things out. She's thinking about what she wants to do, how she's going to do it. She gets fucking freaked out at the end and when I say freaked out, I don't mean she's bouncing off the walls, but you see an expression come over her face of pure dread when Mom says don't make any more mistakes in the future, or bad stuff is going to happen.
Well, this is
in the background it says doom.
This is where inner monologue can be quite useful though, because you can have Crone's outer actions contrasted with more cool and calculating inner mind, that makes it more of a front.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something.
And
for me,
and so I figured sorry, I just wanted to just finish up and just to say that conceptually, I think what they were trying to do is I think that the directors were these characters are too similar. We don't need Crone to be a sympathetic character here in their mind. We don't need Crone to convey more stuff about adults in the world or whatever in the same way that Mom would. We need Crone to be different, so she'll stand out and, I don't know, make more sense as a character, I guess, is what they were thinking. We need her to stand out from Mom and not be just another version of Mom. The only real thing that sets them apart, their demeanors and stuff are so similar, is Mom is never proactive. She's very much like a planner behind the scenes, and Crone is doing tag. She's kind of active and running around and making moves, and that's the only thing that's different.
In this episode, the only time that Mom is actually looking at the kids is from behind a window. Mm-hmm. So there's that. I mean, here's the way I would have done it. First off, I would have completely redesigned the characters to not have the fucking, exaggerated features. Absolutely unnecessary. doesn't need to be there. So there's your aesthetic change immediately. Secondly, I am still very much of the opinion this material would be stronger if it was filtered, or rather a lot of the knowledge that comes about is filtered through the characters rather than being delivered to the audience separately. Like the scenes we get of Crone and Isabella.
I disagree slightly.
Crone and Isabella, like, you know, talking on their own. Like, take, for example, the scene where Crone is talking to the doll. I said it before and I'll say it again, I think this would have been better if one of the trio, maybe Emma even, was listening at the door. And then that sells the terror. Like, who the fuck is Crone talking to? She can't
in that sense, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Because these are children, and they're dealing not only with regular adults who are regular, quote unquote, who are in of themselves malicious and evil and want to, you know, do them harm. Well, they are dealing with demonic-looking creatures that could conceivably be conjured from a child's nightmares. And that's why I think they've missed a trick here by filtering this through the characters' experiences and their knowledge. Like, you know, getting them to parse it for us as the audience rather than us learning things separately. I said it before, like, you know, with Franks and all that, like, there's a difference between revealing the big twist early and revealing it late. And for me, revealing it early means it's better to pass it through the characters rather than the
So to address what Trickster asked and what Vorgelia is responding to in chat, I don't think it was an intentional reference. I'm just saying what the scene felt like to me, an American, and are they and I would say like that handling like that if you're going to handle a scene like that, like intentionally or unintentionally, like kind of as tactlessly and guilelessly and carelessly as they do, like, I don't know, they shouldn't have done it. I didn't like the way they did it. It didn't make me feel yuck in the manga. They had that same one-on-one showdown, but again, Crone was cast in a different light, and while still being subordinate, she didn't feel. It didn't feel. I'll just say it didn't feel like a master-slave thing. It felt like you had a kind of rebellious subordinate trying to get what she wanted and undermine her superior, who she hates just because she has stuff, and just because Isabella has it and Crone doesn't, and she doesn't understand why that's the case.
One other thing, like, I think I'm gonna be fair here to the author, the original author of the manga, because it's problematic in the manga as well, as much as it is in the adaptation. I think this is much like it is with a lot of problems out with Persona and other stuff. It's a fault of hubris. I think that in this case, they wanted to portray Crone as monstrous and didn't realise, unfortunately, that the Venn diagram of drawing him that way as monstrous also, unfortunately, overlaps with the giant circle that's labelled racist. So there you go. But the thing is,
I think, like, oh, go on.
Let me finish. But for me, if they wanted to do that, there's a better way to do that, which is not to use exaggerated physical features. There's a very distinct difference between the humans, the adult humans, and the demons, and I think that's a key part of this. It's why I made the Pan's Labyrinth comparison in the first episode. Because Pan's Labyrinth was all about humans can be just as cruel and malicious and evil as actual monsters, despite the fact that they look no different than you or I. So that's why it works with Isabella, because she is the one who's delivering these children to these creatures for fucking, you know, chicken McNugget snacks. But it doesn't work for Crone because the exaggeration takes out that. It would be better if she was drawn as plainly and as regularly as possible to help sell it in the same way it sells with Isabella, that she's just a regular person doing cruel and inhumane things because human beings can be cruel and inhumane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Simple as fucking that.
Yeah. So, like I said, in terms of a concept, I get why they did it, but like I think the execution has been pretty not great.
Like as a concept, they clearly had something in mind. Like they're clearly trying to compensate for something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah. Like I mentioned in the chat, like diversity isn't a very big part of the Japanese anime industry. I highly doubt there's any people of color there that could actually go, hey, that's not cool, actually.
Well, the thing is, they've already got it right in this show by having drawn Don the way he is. That's the fucking also the maddening thing.
Don showed up for like 5 minutes in the entire thing.
But no, we've seen it before, and he's been drawn perfectly regularly.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Super happy.
He's as regular as the rest of them. So I like that. To me, is the evidence that they wanted to use those elements to show that she was a monster. Unfortunately, they just didn't think about how that would read to other audiences. I mean, we've had discussion in chat about like, what it's like to live in Japan, maybe not know people of color, or even know like the imagery from older Western media, like Christ fucking stuff on Marmalade. Us back in the UK, we had Gollywogs back on there way back when. Emily will probably know about that. They got banned because they're racist characters. Noddy, like the fucking kids book, racist characters and that. Like, it's still relatively recent, but this is like from Western media.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, right? It boils down to this for me. I totally get why this happened. I understand how it happened, but it does not excuse it. That's the difference here.
Yeah,
doesn't mean I agree with it in the slightest.
Yeah.
Can I just make a clarification also? I'm not like arguing that they should be excused from criticism because they lack diversity and they couldn't have known better. The lack of diversity, their kind of ignorance in this thing, almost willful ignorance, like, is definitely yet another point of fucking criticism.
Yeah.
Like, definitely criticize them for everything that they've done to this character, but also like for having this piece of shit industry that would not really have enabled them to even know about other shit. So yeah.
Luckily, like, well, you know what? I'll just say,
Do we stop talking about Crone now?
Crone is not going to be in this entire show. So at some point we'll be able to move
I imagine
on.
like when they leave, Crone's not going to be a very big like sort of thing, especially if as I'm asking fuck my life, as I'm kind of predicting.
Sorry.
As I'm kind of no, I mean I had to pause and fuck my life. So.
How was it? How was it?
You know what?
Were you smoking afterwards? Was it good for you?
Was it good for me like it was for me? Well,
shit.
if they say that the first time is the best time, it wasn't that great.
Ugh. Anyway, can I also just write?
Anyway, as I was kind of predicting, quote unquote, magical girl Vorgelia with the psycho powers. I assume like kind of Crone's plans. I'm giving her the the manga sort of characterization where she does have plans. I'm assuming kind of Crone's plans and actions will indirectly foil mom's plans and will allow the children to escape. Or like mom will have an ace up her sleeve and Crone will kind of fuck it up unintentionally or intentionally, and she's gonna just go away.
So like, okay, to respond to chat again, I think none of us here are under any illusions that like anime's treatment of people of color has been or probably will be in the immediate future great. It's been, to be kind, spotty. To be frank, it's been shit. It's been real bad. Ignorance, insensitivity, sometimes, in some cases, maliciousness. I question Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball, like Mr. Popo. Like, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? So, like, yeah, we all know that the history is there. It's just like, I don't know, it kind of continually comes up in these new things from occasionally, and it's just disappointing. And look, we have an audience. Some of them may be watching anime for the first time. Some of them may be interested in how, we, our little old selves, think about this sort of thing. And we just want to put our opinions out there as, as used to this kind of stuff as we may be. And I also totally disagree that, like, that the anime people were thinking about, like, oh yeah, like American slavery, like master slave, like let's do. I don't think they thought about it at all. I think that they just fumbled it.
Don't even get me.
Because like if they thought
handles that concept.
Well, I just think they fumbled it and fucked it up and didn't realize what they were doing. Because if they thought about it, that would imply that they were trying to say something with that scene and with the character. What the fuck were they trying to say? What was the intentionality there? I mean, was it to say like I read a book about slavery? Like that's sorry. Like I'm not into that. I think it's actually more charitable. You know, Trickster is saying like I like to think the best of people. I think it's actually more charitable to say, look, these guys just didn't know what the fuck they were doing and they dropped the ball. Like that happens.
I think so too. And that does not excuse them.
Nope. No, they should.
It does not excuse them in the slightest.
When they're going to make that art, they should figure that shit out.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right.
Because it's not like because they're. I mean, and people will be like, "Oh, what are you saying? Are you trying to censor artists? Like, can they not?" So, like, again, they're not trying to say anything. I'm saying if they want to make a point,
because we're not. It's not like taking your anime away. We're not censoring anything. We're complaining.
Yes.
We're using the free speech to complain about the thing that you can just watch.
Yeah, us free, miserable curmudgeons on the internet with a small audience. We're totally going to take that thing away from you. Absolutely, like it's a fucking toy that you got at Christmas.
And we're not advocating anyone else do that.
Extending my hand, there's your anime. It's in my grasp now. I took it.
Freeze
it's
peach.
Gone.
No, we're totally.
That's it. I got it. It's in my pocket.
Yeah. I don't think any of us are saying like, "Hey, guess what, artists? Like this subject is off limits or taboo." But what we are saying is like, if they make it without any understanding of what's going on, or they say something shitty or whatever, like we're gonna like call them on it. That's it.
I wonder. This is making me think of another show, but I'm not going to say it out loud because fuck that turgid piece of shit.
What I think builds up the kind of sensitivity to things is actual like contact with those things. If all they did was just kind of consume some garbage, like American media or whatever, and saw representations of people they've never seen or like in their real life they've never interacted with, never done anything with, obviously they're not going to be as sensitive to their portrayal as if they were actually they knew someone like that or like they were working with someone like that. It's very obvious. Personal story, I'm transgender, is not very difficult to understand. But when I was younger, is that kind of like misunderstanding, that kind of fear of like not knowing shit. I thought they were gross. Like I never knew any one of them. They looked weird, whatever. If I saw some kind of representation of transgender people in media, I would be like, oh my god, what a gross character. They deserve it. But like when actually meeting someone like that, I kind of started completely reconsidering my view, because hey, like, this is a normal person. I fucking like this person. Like, what the heck? It completely changes your worldview to have interacted with someone like that and to have someone like that in your life. So when I say willful ignorance, I really do mean it, because it's like fucking these people probably don't work with people of color, probably don't know any of them, so they just don't have like the kind of prerequisites to build up that kind of like sensitivity to shit, and they don't even try. They don't even. I don't know if they don't even know that this bothers people, or maybe they don't even care. Hey, it bothers some Westerners. Who cares?
And like, what? We're this is a Pandora's box of all kinds of problems.
I will round off this discussion from my perspective by saying this. I was saving this for a different topic, the show that will not be named, but I'm going to just throw this out here now. You can write in fiction about anything you want. If you want to write about Nazis, for example, you can do. And I'm going to go one further, but please let me finish this point, because I know it's going to sound controversial. Just hold out on this, right? You can even write that Nazis are great. You can do, if you want.
There's a visual novel that did that recently.
Wait, please let me finish. Okay. I'm asking so I finish.
Okay.
Right? However, However, if you write something like that, there are consequences to how people will react to it. It's as simple as that. You can write, all the kind of Nazi propaganda shit you want in which you're in favor of. And then you have to then own the reactions that people have to that. You can't write it in willful ignorance. It's impossible. You have to have a smarter and wider worldview. I mean, this was the thing I was arguing about with that show, which is that, you can totally write that it's okay to own slaves, as this show purports. You can do that if you want to, but you then have to own and be ready for the reactions to that. Works of fiction do not sprout out of the earth completely devoid of authorial involvement. You don't plant an idea in the ground and have it sprout into a manga, video game, film, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't happen like that. That thing that you see at the start of every fiction book you read, which says this is, not the author's opinions, that's legalese. It does not mean that it's not, completely divorced from the author's worldview. I've said this before about Orson Scott Card and his homophobic, worldviews versus his actual content. All other sorts of stuff out there about it. So I'm just saying that if you want to be a good author, not only do you have to be good at actually writing and constructing your world and your characters and your narrative, you have to be responsible as well. And when I say that, that means that, yeah, you go write your Nazi propaganda if you want, where you're happy with, you want them to take over the world and all that shit. Just be prepared to own the reaction that people have to it, and don't pretend otherwise that you didn't plan for it. Nishigori, you shit.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Shadon. I totally wasn't going to, interrupt you and go on a tangent. I just, when you said that, I was like, oh, yeah, Desiree, the visual novel. I just want just a quick reference to that, because it is, a VN that's, about, I haven't, I have not, played it, and I haven't seen the anime adaptation. It's my understanding that it's pretty, that glorifies the Nazis. So
Can you pronounce that again? The name of the thing? Can you just?
I have no idea how to pronounce
the camera. It. Just once more for the camera.
Desiree. How do you say it? Is it a Latin word? Is it Di or something?
The S is not silent in Latin.
Right. So is it correct? Is it dies or is it D's? What is it?
I'll let you figure out.
Okay.
Dix irate. There we go. It's Dix irate. Let's move on.
It's so helpful.
The irate game.
Oh, fuck.
New video from the irate game.
I've never heard anyone talk about this, so I don't really know how to pronounce. I just rely on other people pronouncing things.
D's array Game of the Year edition. Moving on.
Yep.
DSRA human revelation.
Yeah.
D's array Sons of Liberty. That does not even work, but I just did that. So that's actually the only talking point I wanted to bring up. Is just to talk about the differences between the two chromes, and talk about, and we talked about midstream during the summary some other things that were left out, and I appreciate why they're doing it, but even if I'm not the biggest fan of some of the choices.
I've actually thought of a talking point.
Okay.
Enough.
Go for it.
Okay, so think of it this way, right, folks? Characters that we have at the moment, Emma, Norman, and Ray, the main trio, they're all 11. Yes.
Those three, they are. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is just a theoretical thing here, but would the show lose anything by aging them up to be 16 or 17?
Oh my god, are we talking about an American movie adaptation now?
No.
We're making an adaptation from Hollywood. They're now 16 to 17, and they're played by 22-year-old actors.
Yes, right.
Oh god.
But so
Buscemi playing Ray or some shit like that.
Oh my god. fucking Tom Cruise playing Ray. Tom Cruise playing 16-year-old Ray.
Emma. We shouldn't bring him. They are going to be a danger to this mission.
Wait. Tom Cruise's character in War of the Worlds, a story in which they were escaping from, aliens that wanted to eat them.
Oh my god.
His name's Ray.
Hey!
Okay. So
Okay.
the reason I asked this is because, here's the thing: these kids are super smart, which is cool. I'm totally okay with that. But with Ash Lynx in Banana Fish, he was also super smart. I'm just curious, the show does not seem to be selling the element that they are as young as they are, as well as it could be. This is why I said before about the whole monsters thing, etc. Viewed through children's eyes and experiences. I'm thinking also a little bit of Coraline by Neil Gaiman here, which again, childlike experience, etc. So basically, I think the question is not so much would the show be any worse for them being Asian, but more is it getting any mileage out of them being children? To be quite honest,
what I think is basically it reduces, at least to some degree, in the viewer's eyes, their capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
You're more like a 16-year-old can punch mom in the face and leave.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're Jotaro Kujo.
An 11, he's 16. Oh my god,
that's right. That's a good shout.
You know, everyone shipping Jotaro and Kakyoin, they're underage. Hey guys. Okay.
Yeah. So there's
I'm joking,
that.
Whatever. But what I'm thinking is
Okay.
basically, they're a 16-year-old can punch mom and fucking leave. I have no other point. 11 years old are more, I guess, fragile in the eyes of the viewer. They can do less things.
Yeah, they can be
They're not
believably
as physically strong.
and
What
be
they're doing
believably.
so far is basically they're smart and they're running.
Yeah.
They're athletic and smart, and that's basically their entire skill set. It kind of limits them. It adds some limitations to this game of chess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they can be more easily mentally manipulated, and like you said, there's not going to be a scene where they find a hidden cache of weapons and fight the monsters, like in the Banana Fish, where Ash puts on the bandolier or whatever bullets, and it's let's fucking do this.
He goes full fucking commando.
Yes, this Rambo 4 right here.
Here's the thing, right? You're both entirely correct. For mechanical purposes, in terms of the narrative, you're absolutely right. It is, limiting their abilities. It makes it more a game of whiz. I mean, Ray was still going to shank a motherfucker anyway, but that's neither here nor there. But I think for me, I feel a little dissatisfied that the show is not getting as much mileage out of this right now. This could very well change later, as it otherwise could do. I mean, I've mentioned a lot of stories, in films and books in relation to this material. Here's another one. Philip Pullman's Dark Materials trilogy. Have either of you read that?
Yes.
No.
Vorgelia.
Do you think I'm
Okay.
smart or something?
I think you are.
Yes.
But anyway,
we think you are.
think
I
have
also
Do
think
not
that
have brain. Sorry. Bye.
it's my feelings on those books are they're very skippable in terms of fantasy literature.
Here's the thing. I'll be honest about those books.
I hate unskippable books. Just open them up, lose 15 hours of my life.
Fuck. Right. Brief Shad reviews of books here, right? Those books, right? The world building was great. Certain elements of the mythology and the particularly Christian elements that are thrown into it. Not to bag on Christianity, I'm just bagging on analogized interpretation. Yeah. Not so fond of.
It sucked.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But here's the thing, right?
Yes, Felix.
In those stories, the characters being children was a central conceit of their experiences and how they process the world and how they process their events. A lot of familial elements, Lyra's anger towards her uncle who turns out to be a dad, and Kara who turns out to be a mum, Will's own lack of parents, etc., etc. Now, not the same thing here, of course, because the kids don't seem to have any concepts of parents beyond the mom figure. But what I'm trying to get at here is that I think this material could be making more use of them being children as a way of, how they handle their situations emotionally, rather than it just being a limitation on their physical abilities. I want to see it challenge them emotionally as well. Because they have a very limited amount of worldviews of experience here. I mean, they've already been raised in a closed environment anyway. I'm just thinking it's missing a little bit of an opportunity. Now, with that said, we are only 4 episodes into this show.
Yeah.
So the moment they get outside, I'm fully anticipating some fucking Lord of the Flies shit. I'm totally thinking that's going to be going that way.
We're a tenth of the way through the story as is currently constituted. Yeah.
In
the manga?
Yes.
Chapter 123 just came out, and we've finished chapter 12 in the adaptation.
This is 1/10. Oh my god, the rest is 10 days long.
Yep. It's the freeze of 5 minutes.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking to myself, like, if ultimately this element is just simply a mechanical one for limitations, and I do wonder, like, if they might have been served bare by I know, it's just pitching it. I'm just thinking it could make better use of what they've got to more accurately or to more, emotionally and convey, like, the way that these kids act. Like, when you make characters that specific age, I just feel like you should probably use that elements of their construction more.
Vorg, are you okay?
Yes,
okay.
I tapped my mic.
Okay.
With my hands.
It sounded much worse.
Anime still.
First of all, the second book in the His Dark Materials trilogy, named after my brother, The Subtle Knife.
Is that all of your family members, The Subtle Something?
Yes. Absolutely.
Look, I don't know. I really don't want to know about your brother's Dark Materials. Like, leave them out of this.
Oh man, I can't remember what the last book was called. It was the Golden Compass.
Amber Spyglass.
Okay, yeah.
The Amber Spyglass.
Compass, Knife, Spyglass. Yeah. Gosh, I haven't thought about those books in forever. The thing that I hated about them is, like, I don't know. At the time I was reading it, it felt like a very, like, Pullman has an axe to grind against Christianity for sure, against Milton and C.S. Lewis, and so that was kind of why he wrote this story. And it's the last book especially. It's like so transparent. He's like going after it, and he's like, and God was a piece of shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and then God walked up and said, "Hey everyone, I'm a piece of shit." Like, it's so, like, just direct and no subtlety.
Given the second book is called The Subtle Knife, there's certainly something not very subtle about its material and the point it's getting across.
Yes, you plunge this knife into God.
Building and certain, bits of it here and there, like, in terms of the character.
Yeah. I mean, I read them. I could have stopped reading them if I didn't like them. It's a lot of text, yeah. So it was enough to get me through. But like you said, like, there's parts of it that I like. But to address your point directly, we have seen in American slasher films that people will actively root against teenagers. So I feel like
this is not the answer I was expecting.
So that's a good fucking answer. When you write them as teenagers, it feels more artificial to have their characters be what they are. I don't think I would expect teenager Emma to be quite the same. I don't expect teenage angst to fucking translate very well when Ray grows up. I just
realized
the Promised Evangelion.
No, worse than that. I've just realised if I got what I was asking for there, like, do you see his hand here? This hand is secretly a monkey's paw, and it's going to curl up one finger now, and you end up with fucking Frank's characters in Promised Neverland instead. And I would definitely want all those dipshits to die in that case. So yeah, you're entirely correct.
You would just this would just be Myoiga. The greatest
I would prefer
show.
That
the greatest show.
I would prefer that over Frank's characters in this piece.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so be careful what you wish for, folks.
I think, like, making them younger children makes this cooler in every way. I think it's a good decision. I don't think, like you mentioned, the question isn't if it would have been worse. I think it would have been different. It would have been a kind of different that I'm not sure if I would prefer to this.
Fair, that's fair. I think maybe my point is just more that they're not fully getting maximal use out of the fact that they are at that particular age.
Not quite yet, because they haven't been in danger yet.
Oh, but do you think?
And still, you see their plans. They're basically like, we're gonna overpower Mom. We're gonna, like, climb this piece of shit. We're gonna just run off. We're gonna, like, arm ourselves with weapons.
Yeah.
It's playing tag. It's running away. It's thinking about stuff. It's what they can do. it limits their toolset so much that the entire thing would have been different just from the beginning if they were any other age.
Yeah, it's like they have to worry about getting kids and babies out. You know, that would have been a much easier obstacle to overcome if the youngest were older.
Love triangle. I only see two love lines. It's Emma and Gilda.
Right. Yeah.
That's it.
And so
I don't see the triangle. What the heck are you talking about? I don't think Ray is even interested in Emma in any way.
I don't think Ray ever will be interested in anyone ever.
Yeah, exactly. He sold them off like immediately. What the heck?
Ray's a
brooder. My point was more that, like, mechanically you're both entirely correct. They are getting, like, limitations in there. They're using the games that children have, etc., etc. But I'm just thinking that there needs to be more emotional, childlike emotions.
This is okay. You're saying on their part you want childlike emotions. Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. All right, we'll do a brief. We'll hang out until Shadon comes back.
Shadon is going to refill his ketchup.
Here's a brief interlude now. Hey, thank you.
Do you think if you wave a shiny thing in front of me, I'm gonna be entertained?
Maybe.
Is that the kind of? Can you show it again? I really loved it. Yeah. Yes. Oh my god.
Apologies, had to make a quick diversion away, but I'm back. Is now the time for me to drop in that I actually more I think about
Oh my god, Shadon, you're here. Holy shit, you have to see this. Dog, do it again. Dog,
No.
Dude, you have to see this. Holy shit.
This will give you reason to go back and watch the VOD, the demonetized VOD. The children, the emotional stuff. So I think them being kids, and this could just be me, the dad, talking, but like,
well, that you would know more than I would, certainly.
It gets more like, this is sort of related to my first answer about slasher films. Kids just seem more vulnerable. Like, everything they do seems more likely to fail. Like, more, you don't believe they're going to succeed because they're just a bunch of kids. I don't care if Norman's
Won't
smart.
Somebody please think of the children?
And I worry about them every little thing. Like, they are so powerless versus these adults. They don't have their hormonal strength yet to fight back. Or to be rebellious.
Imagine buff Ray.
Ray instead
gets
of reading
left behind and just works out for 5 years.
Instead of always reading, he's just lifting under the tree.
I'd like to imagine adult Ray, like how he's got that hair bit over here. Like, it just currently goes down to just below, like, his mouth. I want to imagine it just continues to grow. It's down to his fucking knee, like a front ponytail.
I never learned how to cut hair.
They come back and he's taking over.
But they have big muscle now.
Emma! Norman! I've taken over the house. Come in. We'll give you some protein shakes.
I punched Mom in the face.
Now, just lift the books. God. Lift. Add more. Add more. Add more.
Is now the time. Is now the time.
Dude, make that a double dose of ketchup.
Oh fuck! No, I'm man.
So the kids, them being kids, brings the fear out of me for sure. Like it's a huge part of what kept me reading like continually, and I think that I don't know, like a lot of.
Are you saying the Promised Neverland is a roguelike?
I don't know what that means. Explain that one. Connect the dots.
You die quickly and easily, and it's over. When you do, it's over. There's no saves coming. There's no restarting. It's just game over.
Man, people have been arguing about what is roguelike, what's a roguelite, what other genres, like Shadon just destroying it. Thank you for just putting an end to that argument, dude. Give it up for Shadon, honestly. Give it up. Give it up. He saved the world.
I got one for you.
All right, I'm gonna pour out some ketchup for myself.
I'm
gonna pour one out.
Solve this riddle, my friend. Rogue light like.
Like that's basically mystery meat. That doesn't mean anything. Like that's a non-term. That's like saying Soylent Green. Like no.
That's like when people call games free to pay or free to play to pay or whatever. I'm just like fucking stop. Come up with a new term.
When EA says added value services instead of microtransactions.
Yes.
They say added value services.
I feel like that's something they would say. I feel like that's something they would say. That's got to be something they say, surely.
In-app purchase is available.
Fuck you very much. For a variety of reasons.
So do you think the fear that they experience would be the same if they were older? Because I feel like, I don't know, there's something so, like, from when they're under the truck to those parts where Mom and Crone are interrogating them. There's something about, like, the
definitely
paralyzed fear of a child there that I think they get across really well.
Intimidated. Yes.
Yeah. I think that maybe a little bit would have been, but not. I think that the age jump to something like 16 or 17 doesn't automatically negate your ability to be utterly pants-shittingly terrified.
I think
okay. I know what you want.
No. If they're 16 and above.
I disagree, and I'll tell you why, because bear in mind, again, these characters exist in this internalized world where they don't have access to the things that would desensitize you at that same age. Like, I might not be so afraid of gore or viscera anymore because of the fact that I've, watched a lot of horror movies in my time. Not so for those kids. I think that it would still lessen the impacts of such things, certainly, but I don't think it's the same degree as it would for, going from 11-year-old me to 17-year-old me. I mean, to be fair, I did watch Predator before I was 11, so that certainly didn't help.
It shapes the rest of your life. Get in the chopper, do it now!
Dad, why is his arm missing? Oh, no reason, son. Don't worry about it.
It's like, you grow up thinking Carl Weathers is a big deal.
Yeah. 2-cent thing just to throw in as a side here. I am absolute agreement. I do not want a fucking romance element in this whatsoever.
Not at all.
They're fucking children.
It's a chess game.
Fuck that.
It's a chess game. They're family. It doesn't go in. It doesn't work.
It doesn't go in.
And I'm saying,
that's the worst choice of. That's the poorest choice of words I've ever made. I mean, it doesn't go in the mix.
Right.
Like it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My God.
Insertion fails.
No, I'm not doing it.
This is not my native language. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Retreating to that island now.
That was a great excuse. Well done.
Falling behind the other wall.
Jesus Christ. Right.
I don't even play this game.
Right. Okay. Just to finish off on the romance thing, like I would be alright with it in one circumstance specific. That is simply if the story beyond the confines of the show progressed until the point where they were older, and when inevitably, as things do because of hormones and shit, that might fall into place as a factor, and then that's something they have to deal with that presents its own kind of divisions, and jealousies, rivalries, etc.
Yeah.
As it stands right now, absolutely not. No way, not touching out a 10-foot barge pole. Fuck right off.
You know what I'm thinking of right now? I'm thinking of the Vivitch.
The Vivitch?
The Vivitch, because in that one, I think the children were older. Like, one of them was 11, and then the oldest daughter was a lot older. So I think if they ended up having that kind of a sort of maybe dynamic, maybe kind of like that kind of, not tech level, but that kind of, if they had instilled that kind of like a viewpoint to the children or whatever, maybe it would have worked. I can kind of see it. That is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What I
think
can't
you were-
see is like modern teenagers where it's like Norman and Emma are like next to the trucks, like, bro, she has a flower. Yo, bro, did you see that?
Whoa!
Whoa. Modern.
Ray, my dude, when you gonna cut
Ray,
that
my
hair? Ray, my guy,
No,
did you
Ray-
mess with
Ray
my
would have been-
stash?
Ray would have been the same. Ray was like, yo, what's up? What's popping?
He did say
Yo,
yo.
He did
Yo,
say,
Emma,
yo.
what's the gas from the wall?
I know what the
What's
children
popping?
these days do. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh my god.
Yo, mom, what's good? Come here.
Oh, I'm just now inserting like Miles.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm now inserting Miles Morales' dialogue from Into the Spider-Verse over like
I'm
Ray.
so sorry. Can
It
we
just
talk
goes
about
into-
Into the Spider-Verse?
I haven't
What
seen
a
it.
nice movie.
Yeah, I haven't
should
seen
go
it.
see
I
it.
need to see it. Yeah,
It's amazing.
that's what I've heard.
I can attest to that.
Okay.
I can't.
Do you guys feel that? Okay. Oh wait. I remember. I was gonna say. I think maybe. Boy, Shadon, I really want you to go back and read the manga for this because I think that maybe some of what you're feeling is there's so many back-to-back scenes with the kids where they're like doing the brain thinking. But there's like stuff, little bits in between of just them going
not in the show?
places, traveling, talking, having discussions, playing,
Well,
trying to stuff down all the shitty emotions and like putting a good face on it for mom or whatever. Like just little
Right.
panels here and there that all add up to conveying like, on top of being clever, like these kids are still kids.
Well, I'm very sorry to say I'm going to be a miserable shithead here and say, all well and good. If it ain't in the anime, it don't fucking count when it comes to Ray in the anime.
Oh no! I'm absolutely not saying you should.
I'm just an ass when it comes to that.
No, you're not. I'm the same.
I-
I agree. Like when we were talking about the adaptation, we should only talk about this material. I just meant like
Yes.
for your own personal enjoyment. I would hope.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
want you to read it.
After Banana Fish, whenever I get around to
But
buying
that's
that.
right. Yeah, got to get banana.
But
Fish.
yeah, like, man, that just makes you think like again, like how many adaptations of works are we going to go through now where I will think I really like this, but by fucking Christ, it could have been even better. I'm still stunned to think that the Persona 4 anime is the best adaptation I know of
Wow.
recently, like in Japanese media.
I'll tell you an argument for doing Neverland before you do Banana Fish.
JoJo's is the best. I
Banana.
think it's best. Like it's
I-
basically 1-to-1. It's only not
That's
the
to its
best
detriment in places.
in a lot of places. Yes.
Part 5, particularly, in case you saw my Twitter earlier today, where I got my knickers in a twist.
I don't
Yeah, I'm
think
sorry.
let's talk about part 5. I don't
But
think
let's keep this brief because this is a Promised Neverland stream. But I'll just say this: if you're gonna make Giorno Dio's son, how about you make it more relevant than simply what would be worthwhile putting as a footnote on Wikipedia? Just,
Oh my god.
just a thought. Like you could have told me that Giorno's dad was Leslie fucking Nielsen, and it would make no difference to me whatsoever.
I have one that's more like kind of more simple brain, but how about you don't fuck up your climactic episode of really powerful moments by starting it off with a panty joke? How about that ending of part 4? Could you have done that? No?
I do. Can I just say that I felt like that would apply to so many things?
Oh my god!
It's true.
All right, here's my argument for you reading Promised Neverland before you read Banana Fish, and it's a purely
Part 5 is the weakest part. Don't at me.
this is a purely economical argument. Banana Fish, it's being re-released, of course, but you have to buy all the books. You could spend $2 on the Shonen Jump app, $2 read the whole Promised Neverland in less than a month, and then unsubscribe. You've only done it for $2. So-
I might have to do that, but I did just order Kurt Vonnegut's Slaughterhouse 5 to read, so that's going to be up next.
Ooh, wow, very
Yeah.
good.
I also recently finished Neil Gaiman's Norse Mythology, which you yourself.
Oh, you read it. What did you think? Oh, you know what? We shouldn't talk about this here. This is behind the paywall content. The paywall that doesn't exist. The paywall that is our personal lives.
There's my review.
I don't have access to this paywall. I don't know what they're doing.
Give me money.
Fuck.
You have to like, follow, and subscribe first, Vorgelia.
In that order?
Yep.
Shit.
Mhm.
I've been doing it wrong this entire time.
Yep, and that's why you haven't been getting the updates. So
Okay.
Get with
I'll make a new Vorgelia who can try better.
let me update the polls before we get out of here.
ツイッターポール
So we got two this week. F5, push it. Does Phil rule? 100% of people say yes. Do you ship Emma X Gilda? Did I spell that correctly? I did. 67% say yes. Those are the polls.
Cool.
Vote.
Can I make a very quick aside based on something Emily's just said before? I want to just briefly call out Noitama on something. Noitama has like got this usual intro that like lasts a couple of seconds as if this like little girl comes to our screen.
Yeah.
The last 3 Noitama shows that I personally have seen were in order: Scum's Wish, a show in which is about sexually confused teenagers and all the horrible shit they do to each other; Banana Fish, in which you've got fucking mustache man raping a kid, great, fantastic; and now we've got the Promised Neverland, in which kids are being sold for their meat. And like, fucking hell, Noitama! Like, are you trying to deceive us with this colourful intro?
It's not.
It's all happy and sweet, and all the stuff I've watched.
Is there a
is the
narrative
most
you're
sordid
trying
shit.
to push?
So we talked about this on the other podcasts, not the other podcast, but the numbered episodes before, when we first reviewed Trapeze, because I think that was the first Noitama show we looked at. But
you are right.
so it's a Fuji TV programming block that was started it's a time slot that opened up in 2005, and it was originally half hour, then it became an hour, and let's see. I think it was even well, anyway, I'm getting conflicting informations. Anyway, so like the mandate for this time slot was like it was almost like an art house slot, right? Like it would be things that are more for adults, things that are more for women, things that are more experimental, like sort of not, it's meant to be shows that are not like otaku bait kind of shows. And you had things like, you've got Honey and Clover, Paradise Kiss, Hadaraki Man, things like that. Mononoke, love Mononoke. We need to watch Mononoke for this podcast. At the beginning. But then there's like this weird period where fucking the block like becomes an otaku block. Like, it's really weird. Like, in 2012, they did Guilty Crown and Black Rock Shooter, like, back to back.
Fucking hell,
both
really?
Both of those things are, like, as otaku as you can get.
I saw the first episode of Black Rock Shooter, and I just thought, what the fuck did I just witness? Did someone just shove a tab of LSD down my throat and force me to swallow? What the fuck is this hallucinogenic nightmare?
I mean, there are a lot of people that like it, and that's fine. The only issue I have with it is, like, it should not have been in that time slot. I don't know if they were like, we need something, anything, like, money, like, keep this time slot open. Because then they kind of got back to it with, like, Psychopaths and Katana Dagatari, which Shadon, you've seen. And things like that.
That was a great show until the last 15 minutes, and then it completely shat the bed.
It's where Ping Pong, like, all kinds of fantastic shows. But yeah, and we've had Banana Fish and Neverland. I think that these are pretty worthy, especially Banana Fish. I feel like this time slot was like the thing that you were thinking about when you created it was Banana Fish. Like, it checks so many like Noitama boxes, in my opinion. But so many great shows have come through here. So like it's totally worth it. Like, you'd have I think a pretty good success rate if you just went to the Noitama Wikipedia page and were like, let me just pick shows from here that sound interesting to watch. But thank you, Emily, for bringing that up, because I enjoy thinking about and talking about Noitama as a thing. I think it's a really interesting idea, and seeing it kind of ping pong around is
It's great, but if you're like browsing this randomly, I'm going to get my family to watch something with me, like I'm going to watch my 4-year-old kid watch Banana.
No,
Fish.
it's not that.
You see the Noitami,
No,
and it's super cute. And you get into Banana Fish, and it's just like, avert your eyes. It's like Bowser covering Bowser Jr.'s eyes up in that little instructional video.
I mean, can you imagine having your kids watch Kuchu Barranco Trapeze? It'd just be bizarre. They'd be like terrified of Irabu Sensei.
No. You're gonna have two reactions. I'm gonna be terrified. Oh, they love the shit out of it because he is a goofy bear.
Yes. Oh my god. Like, not just even the goofy bear. I imagine like even younger children would be captivated by how like visually interesting and weird that show was.
Yeah, they won't have a clue what's going on, but they'll find it fascinating for how it looks.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like your kid liked what was his name from Star Wars?
What?
Anakin?
No. The
a fucking Salacious Crumb.
Salacious Crumb. I feel like someone that likes Salacious Crumb. Can someone else continue the sentence?
Oh my god.
I really can.
It's so adorable. I feel like they would get like into.
I've just realized the place I'm at. It looks like. Oh, no. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching stream.
Oh my god, that was it. Oh fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. Oh my. Oh, I said.
Please don't apologize.
This has been a lot of things I regret. Yes.
That's why we do the podcast, so we can get things out.
Oh my god.
This has been.
So we can say regrettable things in a controlled manner.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I know I apologize for having not as much to say about the show this week.
To be fair, I think that applies to a lot of people though, like who would watch the show week on week and have reaction. I think shouts James Beckett, who I hope is listening somewhere. I think he similarly said in the tweet that he didn't feel like this show, or rather this episode, was as strong or as noteworthy to talk about relative to the previous ones, because now the rules are set now. We know what's going on, and this is why I'm starting to feel a little bit like an itchy trigger finger on wanting things to progress a lot quicker. And it's also why, to me, the only genuinely critical moment of this episode, or two, I suppose, would be firstly the stuff with Gilda and Don in the library, and secondly the ending bit with Ray being outed as the traitor. But yeah, not having a lot to say about this episode is perfectly legitimate. So should we do ratings?
We should.
All right.
Hit me with ratings.
All right, I'll go first.
Okay.
So, for me, this episode is still really good. The show is still really good overall. It's starting to have a couple of cracks here and there, though. We've got the big fucking, tectonic plate crack that is Sister Crone. That's still a problem and continues to be a problem, and they only seem to be exacerbating it with the changes they make from the material, as I understand it as someone who's not read the manga. For me, I think they could be taking more time to get more potential out of certain elements of the show's design, particularly the fact, the lead characters are children. Let's get some of the, the Coraline or Pan's Labyrinth-esque, passing it through their worldview rather than us as the audience gain the privileged access to behind-the-scenes stuff, that kind of thing. And there wasn't a lot of scenes in this episode that were as noteworthy or as vital or as core to the plot as there were in previous ones. But what we got was still good. We still did get some good directional touches, particularly the library scene with Ray. For those reasons, I'm going to give this episode, I will give it 3.5 destroy dolls out of 5.
Very good. I don't know what else is there to say beyond what you just said. Like, there are parts of the episode that I really like, and they're connected to things in the previous and in future episodes that I like and think are good. I like all these characters a lot, but if I'm just gonna compartmentalize this 23-24 minutes, it's probably a 3.5, a 4, bad CG stares out of 5.
Nice. What I'm thinking is, like, every episode so far, again, has had a lot of impactful moments and has kind of advanced the chess game in interesting ways. I think in this one it felt like things are in progress, and the one like kind of plot thread that was kind of going around in this episode didn't quite get resolved in like a satisfying way, and the next kind of like plot kind of twist wasn't like too mind-blowing and whatever. So I feel like it's starting to lose some steam. The library scene basically being the only scene again that kind of characterizes anyone that does any good. A lot of the scenes kind of felt like not necessarily filler, but this is the first episode that felt stretched out.
Yeah,
for me.
The first half in particular, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Like everything past the like library scene with like the notes and the rope and Gilda talking to Crone. Like I thought all that was like at least interesting.
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah.
There weren't any scenes that were completely devoid of merit, with the exception of Crone fucking up her own doll, because that was completely perfunctory and nonsensical and tonally, crap. Let's just be blunt here. But no, I think what's worth reminding myself and ourselves of this is that when I come down on Promised Neverland like this, it's a relative thing. I still think that generally speaking, the batting average of this show is really strong.
Absolutely. So that's why I still give it 3 Mads Mikkelsens that don't want to die, plus 1 extra Mads Mikkelsen smooching Hideo Kojima.
Good.
That's a lot of Mads Mikkelsens.
That's a lot of Mads Mikkelsens.
That's Mads Mikkelsens.
That's a lot of Madses?
That's a mad number of Mads.
That's a mad lib. There you go. Nailed it.
That's a mad, just like Crone, right? Fuck.
Oh, what? That was a moment.
It hurts. I'm sorry. It hurts.
I know. It's time, Jim Bean.
All right. Well,
Jim.
Ladies, gentlemen, and bees, thank you so much for joining us for this week's Warui Deshou Stream of Thought, Promised Neverland Episode 4. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can tweet us at Warui Deshou on Twitter. You can send us an email, waruideshou@gmail.com. Follow us. Share our stuff. SoundCloud, Warui Deshou. On YouTube, right now you folks are watching on YouTube, but if you're listening later to the audio-only version, we have a YouTube channel. Search for Warui Deshou, Deshou. And Warui Deshou.
Mr. Obama.
Search for that.
Warui Deshou.
In that, you need to talk into your phone in that exact voice, and then you will get to
that's
the YouTube channel. Yes.
And then Ceres calls the cops on you for making. Oh, never mind. Fuck.
Shadon, if folks want to interface with you on the virtual reality, how would they do that?
Play me in Guilty Gear. There we go. Job done.
Yes.
See me in Guilty Gear, motherfuckers. Yeah, my Twitter should be on screen already. It's also my Curious Cat, so go nuts. Talk to me. Shoot the breeze. I also just found out that Felix is in the UK, so I feel compelled to say to him, join me for a pint sometime, if ever the opportunity presents itself.
The Manx get together and form Warui Deshou Manchester. There needs to be a Manchester office.
The British Expedition.
Yes, exactly. WDUK. WDuck. There. Yeah, Wool-duck. Wool-duck.
You're the quack around here, mate.
God damn it, I can't think of a good duck joke, pun. Yeah.
Well, you put it on your bill later.
Web, feather, quack, quack, and stuff.
Oh, he threw that in the pond.
Oh.
Poop on the sidewalks.
That's not a...
Well, there's a park near my house, and the sidewalks are just littered with duck poop.
Oh my god. Now I know where you live.
They just subsist on like whole loaves of bread. Like people just throw them so much bread.
Right. It's not even good for them, right?
I don't think so. No, it's not. You're supposed to buy duck food out of a machine, but a lot of people bring bread anyway. And I'm like, dude, support the park. Bring a quarter and bring a coin and get the duck food. It helps everyone. Support your local parks. Vorgelia, if people want to talk to you about supporting their local parks, where do they find you?
Okay. In the famous words of Russian Terminator, you are my enemy. You have seen my face prepare to die.
You've got the
You
problem.
can find me at Vorgelia on everything. I'm at /Vorgelia on whatever. I'm going to Destination Fight
Yay!
later this month to get destroyed at Under Night and Tekken. If you want to tell me in my face how much of a horrible person I am, there's your one chance.
You'll have to go through me first.
Fine. I mean, if I tell you you're a horrible person, I guess you're out of the way and they can come to me directly. Or is that what you mean, or what?
No, I'm going to defend you.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
Hold the back button a lot. If you follow the screen talk at the Subtle Doctor Me on the Twitter or other places, Twitch, the end. Something in me is broken. So, from everyone here at Warui Deshou, I will say good night. I will say embrace each other, everyone, to the ends of the universe. And I will say no te rindas, la luz te espera.
Sugoi!